Our theme for this month is capturing the spirit of the season, and so every Sunday we're working on some aspect of this holiday season, and today it is about capturing the spirit of peace. Capturing the spirit of peace. And I agree with the words you said earlier, Peter, when you were announcing the World Peace Meditation, that sometimes in this life we look at what is going on in our world and we just shake our head and say, I don't know, what can I do? And we feel a little ineffective and insignificant in making any kind of difference whatsoever. But I want to tell you that I believe we can make a difference. I believe that every single one of us sitting in this room has an opportunity to make a huge difference. And I love that statistics show that that is true. Those statistics you showed of the declining rate of violence since in the last 20 years, which is how long that annual World Peace Prayer has been being done. I think by coming to that, so I want to tell you right now that if you just looked at my physical clock and my body rhythms, am I a morning person or a night person? I would so much prefer to stay up until 1 or 2 in the morning and get up about 10. Oh, that would be so nice. That would be so nice. 5 o'clock in the morning, you've got to be kidding me. All I do is say, I'm glad I don't live in LA, because, then it'd be 4 o'clock in the morning. I am here. I have been here every single New Year's Eve morning since we've been having this, and I will be here in my jammies with a hat on but it's dark in here, somebody can see, right? Right. So I want you to be with me because that is something we can do. Today I want to talk about some other things that we can do to serve and support and expand the consciousness of humankind to bring peace to our world. Our master teacher, Jesus, was, of course, called the Prince of Peace. And he came to teach us ways of peace. And we haven't quite gotten it yet. But I think we are the people to bring peace to this earth. There is a beautiful ancient Chinese proverb that speaks to this. Some of you may know it. It goes like this. If there is light in the soul, there will be beauty in the person. And if there is beauty in the person, there will be harmony in the house. And if there is harmony in the house, there will be order in the nation. And if there is order in the nation, there will be peace on earth. Go back up to the beginning. Where did that start? If there is light in the soul. Now, I believe that there is light in every soul. It's there. We can't do anything to extinguish that light, but we can sure cover it up. So for me, that passage says, if we let the light that the soul already has shine, which is what Jesus told us to do. Do not hide your light under a bushel, he said. And we sing about that as our children come in. This big light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And the rest of those of you who grew up in a Christian, like I was raised in a Baptist church, there are more lyrics to that song. Hide it under a bushel? See, that's it. I wanted to find out who knew that. Yes, that's how that goes. Nice job. So today I want us to explore something that comes out of a great book written many years ago, a book by Deepak Chopra, and it's called Peace is the Way. And he offered behaviors and activities of, if you want to be a peacemaker, he offered 7 practices to being a peacemaker. Now, don't freak out like, oh my gosh, 7 things. Yeah, okay. They're small things to do, and you do 1 a day. So there's a practice for Monday, there's a practice for Tuesday, there's a practice for Wednesday, and we move through the week. I want to talk about those today and offer you the opportunity to become a peacemaker by practicing these, not just for a week, because sometimes it takes a little bit longer than that. So my challenge on the table for us is that we practice for the next 30 days. And let's just see what happens. The next 30 days, so we'd roll these 7 practices through 4 times. Now, some of you are very sharp. I see you already. You're pulling out from the pew pocket in front of you. You are good. Yes, there are sheets in the pew pocket in front of you that give you the 7 practices and lines to take some notes. So today we are entering a classroom. Today it's a classroom, and you might want to take some notes. If you don't get those notes down or you don't catch something, I'll repeat it here, or you can always jump online and listen to this talk again and catch them if you missed them today. But let's just quickly go over them and then we'll dig into them. First of all, Sunday is the day to be peace. Monday is the day to think peace. Tuesday is the day to feel peace. Wednesday is the day to speak peace. Thursday is the day to act peace. Friday to create peace, and Saturday to share peace. And then we roll ourselves back to Sunday to be peace. So I want to talk of what do those mean? What are the practices under each of those? That's what we're going to go today. So if you want to write notes, please do. If you don't catch it and you want me to say something again, I will. Sunday. Today. So I'm going to tell you about the Sunday practice, but then later we're going to actually do the Sunday practice because, hey, we're here, we're together. Let's do this practice together today. So that will happen at the end. That's how we'll bring our time to a close. But here is the Sunday practice. Deepak Chopra suggests to be a peacemaker on Sunday, to be peace, that you would carve 5 minutes out of your day to contemplate, bring into your heart 4 words. And those 4 words are, number 1, who's buried in Grant's tomb? That would be Grant. So the number 1 word would be? Peace, 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 peace. I'm sorry. That was logical in my brain. That made sense in my brain. It didn't as it came out of my mouth. You wrote bada-ding, bada-doong. I don't know what to write. Peace is the first word. Rest in peace. Oh, dear me, no. Peace, peace, peace. That's the P-E-A-C-E. That's the first word to bring into your heart and contemplate. The second word is harmony. Harmony. The third word, which I just love, is laughter. Laughter. And we have lots of that. Isn't that great? And the fourth word is love. So Chopra suggests to be peace, that we take 5 minutes to contemplate in our hearts the concepts, more than the word, the concept of peace, of harmony, of laughter, and of love. And then we take 5 minutes to do that on Sunday. And then to end your meditation with an intention to let go of resentment and grievance. Oh, take a breath. To let go of a resentment or a grievance. Because, my friends, if our hearts have resentments or grievances in them, we are not going to be at peace. That's just the way it is. And if we are not at peace, then there is not going to be peace in the world. So after your 4 words of contemplation for 5 minutes, say to yourself, today I let go of resentments and grievances. And Chopra says then to just move into a moment of forgiveness of something that bubbles up into your mind. Because something might, a person, an event, an experience, it could be something that happened at the grocery store yesterday or in your family of origin 30 years ago. It doesn't matter. If it bubbles up, then it's there. So Chopra suggests that you go into a place of forgiveness. I want us to amp that up. Because, I'm going to go on a little limb here and say this. You may think I'm a heretic as I say it, but I'm going to anyway. Forgiveness is powerful and important, and it has to happen, but to me that's the first level. That's the first level. It's so not the last level. Because forgiveness, just the concept of I forgive you, does that not suggest that you did something wrong to me? And what am I doing? I am blaming. I'm in a blame. I'm in a victim mode. And if that's where we need to be, it's okay. If that's the place that we can start, some people can't, we have a challenge even starting there, but that's a place to begin. But there's more to do than that. And I would like to propose that we do more than just say, I forgive, that we move into the place of ho'oponopono. Yes, many of you are saying, yes, you know that. Some of you maybe don't know what that is. Ho'oponopono is an ancient from the Hawaiian tradition, Polynesian tradition, of complete release and healing. And it is the ultimate taking of responsibility for what happens in your experience. The ultimate saying that whatever came into my sphere of experience, I had a hand in creating. Take a breath. I know that can be difficult. But if we truly believe we're one and we truly believe we're creative beings, then we have a hand in everything that comes into our experience. So Ho'oponopono acknowledges that and says that must be true. And therefore, I'm not going to ask in my mind or even think in my mind, I forgive you. No, it is, I ask for forgiveness because I brought this in. I created this experience. I did. No blame, no shame. It's just the spiritual truth we did. Our souls did. So, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Those are the 4 phrases of Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. For those of you not familiar with the work of Dr. Hugh Lin, who is a Hawaiian therapist, he's the one who brought this practice to the mainland, if you will, to the more global consciousness. He very quickly was a therapist, and many, many years ago was asked to come be the therapist at a hospital for the criminally insane. Many of you know this story, but I think there are a few who don't, so I want to share it. He was asked to come be the therapist at a hospital for the criminally insane because they couldn't keep staff, they couldn't keep therapists, they couldn't keep guards, they couldn't keep anybody. Nobody wanted to be there. It was such a horrible place to be. So he said to them, yes, I will come be the therapist here, but I will do it my way. And if you don't let me do it my way, I won't do it. Well, what's your way? Well, my way is this. I will not see one patient. No. I will do my thing in my office. And they were like, well, we're kind of desperate, so okay. What he did is he came in and he pulled a file of one of the inmates/patients. He pulled a file that had the person's picture, it had their history, it had their crimes. He sat and he read their file, he read their history, he read their crimes, and then he did Ho'oponopono. Because his view was, if this is in my sphere of experience, I had a hand in creating all of it. So he said, looked at the picture of the criminally insane person in this hospital, prison hospital, and said, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. He did that for 8 hours. Went from file to file to file to file. When he got through them all, he started again, file to file to file. And eventually, I don't know how long it took, but eventually, that hospital had to close because every person who was there was released from that hospital, either released from prison or released into the rest of the judicial system to do what was right for them at that time. But the hospital for the mentally insane, the criminally insane, was closed. Now, this is not a rumor, this isn't an urban legend, this happened. Look it up, you can look it up. Powerful practice. So, be peace, your 4 words, and then Ho'oponopono to anything that comes up. That is what we do on Sunday, and that's what we're going to do in a little bit here this morning. But first, we're going to move to Monday. Monday, we are going to stand guard the portals of our mind as we think peace. Ralph Waldo Emerson, stand guard the portals of your mind, which means on Monday, tomorrow, you are going to stay so aware of what is going on in your brain, what's going between this very valuable real estate that's right here. What are you thinking? And if anything comes into your mind that causes you to get knocked off center, a thought of frustration, a thought of anger, a thought of upset, a thought of overwhelm, a thought of doubt, a thought of fear, any thought comes in, you are paying attention, you're standing guard the portal of your mind, and you're going to make a choice to change that thought and replace it with something else. And you're going to replace it with an ancient intention. Deepak Chopra calls it an ancient intention. And it starts like this. Let me be loved. Let me be happy. Let me be peaceful. Let me be loved, happy, peaceful. Now, I know you good religious science like, well, wait a minute, that's not an affirmation. So if you want to say, I am happy, I am loved, happy, peaceful, you go right ahead. But the ancient practice was, let me be. But that's not enough. We're not going to stop there. It's not just me, right? There's more than just me here involved in this. So after we say, let me be loved, let me be happy, let me be peaceful, let us then say, let my friends be loved, happy, peaceful. But that's not enough. That doesn't go far enough. The next one, let my perceived enemies. Now it starts to happen. Now the magic starts to happen. Let my frenemies, yes, or as the Dalai Lama said, our sacred friends, those who call us up to a higher level of being, right? Let my perceived enemies be loved, happy, and peaceful. Oh, but let's not end it there. Let's keep going. Let all beings be loved, happy, peaceful. And to bring it on home, there's one more. Let the whole world experience these things. Let the whole world experience these things. So let's just try these on for size, all right? I'll say them, since in case you didn't get them written down, I'll say them in chunks and then you can repeat after me. So let's just practice this and you can sit there or, what else you could do? Right? We know our power position. If you want to stand in the power stance, here we go. Let me be loved.
Let me be loved.
Let me be happy.
Let me be happy.
Let me be peaceful.
Let me be peaceful.
Let my friends be loved, happy, and peaceful. Let my perceived enemies be loved, happy, and peaceful. Let all beings be loved, happy, and peaceful. Let the whole world experience these things. Amen and hallelujah, brothers and sisters. That's our think piece on Monday. Tuesday, feel peace. Feel peace. We're taking it from the head now to the heart. Feel peace. 3 emotions that bring forth peace, according to Chopra, are compassion, understanding, and love. Compassion, understanding, and love. And he suggests they're actually kind of a cascade. One affects the other. He writes on page 26 of Peace is the Way. Compassion is the feeling of shared suffering. When you feel someone else's pain, there is a birth of understanding. Understanding is the knowledge that we all share this. When you understand that you aren't alone, there is a birth of love. When there is love, there is an opportunity for peace. I want to tell you a story about this. There was a young man by the name of John. He was a college student, and he was a bit eccentric. Very brilliant, but a bit eccentric. Quite eccentric, as a matter of fact. And one of the ways his eccentricity showed was simply in his physical appearance and his demeanor. So the physical appearance was this. He didn't care anything at all about how he looked or how he smelled or anything like that, so he didn't really believe in showers that much, and he very rarely, if ever, washed his hair and hardly ever combed it, so it was all over the place, and the clothes he wore he didn't care anything about. There were holes in his t-shirt, and he wore jeans, not the fashionable kind with holes in them, but the kind that were holy simply because they had been so worn. He didn't wear shoes, and because he didn't bathe that much, his feet were really dirty, so he was just kind of, in the human experience, a mess, let's say. He was kind of a mess. But he was brilliant, and he was going to college, and he decided he wanted to go to church one day. And right across from the campus was this very old, staid, wealthy, traditional church. And everyone in it was like, my age and more. I won't say what that is, but let's just say... 25. What was that? 25, yes, I like it, yes, plus, times, several things. Anyway, let's say in their 60s or over, and, the men in 3-piece suits with ties, and the women in their lovely little suits and high heels and hose and gloves, and even some of them wearing hats. This was the church, right? Not us, but that was his. So John decides to go to this church, and he walks in, and church has already started. In fact, the minister had just begun to give his sermon. And John walks through the door and notices that there aren't any seats in the back. So he walks forward and he's looking for a seat, and now people are starting to notice him and get a little notice of him. And they're thinking to themselves, oh, please don't sit next to me. So they kind of, spread out a little bit so there won't appear to be room. And he doesn't see any room, and so he keeps walking forward and walking forward and walking forward, and he doesn't see any room, and he doesn't see any room, and he finally gets to the very front. There's no room, and so he plops himself right there on the floor, cross-legged, and sits. Well, now the whole congregation is just kind of like, and with that they hear on the wood floor a clicking, and they look back, and it is one of the deacons, 85-year-old deacon, impeccably dressed, three-piece suit, a pocket watch with the gold chain, and his cane. And down he's coming down the aisle. And the people are thinking, well, I'm sorry, somebody's got to do this, but for crying, this is just unacceptable and inappropriate. I'm so glad the deacon's going to do it, so I don't have to. So everyone is just sitting breathless, waiting for this to just get cleared up and cleaned up, taken care of. And the minister can't even preach. He's like, oh dear me, he's just standing there also. So everyone is kind of suspended in time as the deacon makes his way down to the front of the church, and everyone's like, oh, finally he's there. He'll get rid of this. But that's not what the deacon does. What he does is very carefully and very slowly sits down next to John and leans over and says, welcome. Welcome to our church. The minister says, after he composes himself, and so does everyone else, he says, I was about to preach a sermon on compassion and understanding and love. But you would have forgotten my words. What you just saw here, you will never forget. Compassion, understanding, and love is how we feel peace. So your job on Tuesday is to have compassion, understanding, and love for someone in your life, and it could even be for yourself. It could be for someone you know. It could be for someone you see standing by the side of the road with a little sign that says out of work. Compassion, understanding, and love of your fellow travelers. That's your job for Tuesday. Your Wednesday assignment is to speak peace. Speak the words of peace. This is twofold. The first fold is what not to do. The second fold is what to do. So the what not to do is on this particular day, you are going to refrain from complaining, criticizing, condemning, gossiping, yammer about anything, including politics. Okay? Including politics. Right? Nothing like that is going to pass from your lips. And I just want to give you a little example of how powerful, in the way we don't want, our words can be. And when we put, gossiping and complaining out there, what could happen? It can come back to us. So there's a story of Mildred. Mildred was a member of a church. I have two church stories today. Mildred was a member of a church, and she loved to gossip and complain. And she did it loudly and didn't care who heard. And she complained about everybody in the church and everybody in her life, and she gossiped and talked. So one particular Sunday, sitting in their fellowship hall, she and a couple of other people were just sitting around a table, and Frank, who was a new member of the church, was sitting there. She looks at him. She doesn't care who she says this to. She looks at him and says, Frank, I saw your truck in front of the bar at 2 o'clock in the afternoon this week. You must be an alcoholic. I just think that's just not a very spiritual thing, and I don't think you should be doing that. And she just went on and on and on, complaining to him, criticizing him, gossiping about him, even right there in front of him. Several people sitting around were like, oh, dear me, this is inappropriate, but we don't want to say anything because we don't want the wrath of Mildred on us, so we're going to stay quiet and not say a word. Well, Frank didn't say anything either. He just kind of a quiet guy. He just sat there. He got up and left, and that afternoon, he drove over to Mildred's. He parked his truck in her driveway and left it overnight. You got to think about that one for a second, don't you? The consequences, there are consequences to the things we do, right? So we're going to refrain on Wednesday from gossip, from criticism. But that's not enough. It's not enough to refrain from it. We got to replace it with something. And what we're going to replace it with are words of appreciation and love. So we're going to tell someone how much we appreciate them. We're going to express gratitude to someone who has helped us. We're going to offer healing or nurturing words to someone who needs support. We are somehow going to speak words of love and care to someone. This is your job on Wednesday. Thursday. Thursday is the day to actually physically help someone else. You know, we kind of look at helping others, that it's this time of year. Yeah, I used to work for a nonprofit before I became a minister. For 2 years, I worked for Homeward Bound, which supported low-income families making their transition from homelessness to self-sufficiency. 2 years, and I was the sponsor developer, which meant I recruited volunteers and I trained them. We were inundated, overloaded beyond our capacity to receive at Christmas of people who wanted to serve, people who wanted to give us things. Now, we did our best to receive everything. We couldn't even place all the people who wanted to physically do something. We didn't have enough clients to let all the people who wanted to help. That was for a 2-week period. And then the rest of the year, we begged, we pleaded, we borrowed to get help. So this idea is not just for 2 weeks we serve. You know, I mean, it's wonderful to go, serve at a soup kitchen on Christmas Day. That's amazing, and I'm not saying don't do that if your heart calls you to that. But it's more than just now. It's an ongoing thing. So the day of Thursday is the day to think about somehow serving. And that can take so many different ways. It can be a smile at a stranger. That's serving. One of the ways my beloved husband serves is whenever somebody comes up to us asking us for money or asking us for anything, the first thing Lonnie says, you know this. Yeah, I've said this before. You guys, tell me your name. He says, tell me your name. Sometimes they're like, what? They don't even know how to respond to that. And he engages them in a conversation. He treats them like a person, not just, get out of here, don't bother me, or here's the money and I'm going to run. So you teach me well. Thank you, dear. Thank you. So an act of kindness to someone, a stranger or someone in your life. That's your Thursday activity. Your Friday activity is fun, and you're going to have to figure this one out on your own. But that's the part of it is to create peace. And creation happens when it happens from the inside, when you do it, not when somebody tells you what to do. That doesn't allow you to be creative. So how do you create peace? Chopra suggests that you come up with at least one creative idea for resolving a conflict. Maybe it's a conflict you have within your own heart about something. How am I going to resolve that? Maybe it's a conflict you see at work. How can I have a hand in resolving that? Maybe it's a conflict you're having with your beloved. Maybe it's a conflict between your children or with you and your children. Wherever that conflict may be that you perceive, be creative in coming up with one idea for resolving that conflict. That is your Friday activity. Finally, Saturday. Share peace. What does that mean? It means share these 7 ideas. Share these 7 ideas. Chopra says with 2 people. So if we really did that, we had probably 200 people here today. By next Saturday, we would have 600 people, right? Who are doing this. And by the next Saturday, do the math, just quickly, get out, how many people would that be? We would exponentially shift and change the consciousness of humanity. So in the pew pocket in front of you, you may have thought originally, man, they made a whole lot of copies of those forms. They must have been really expecting a crowd today, which we were, and we have it, and that's lovely. But we made extras so that you could take a couple extras. And on Saturday, the day that if you want to play and you want to choose to do this, that day, you share that sheet and these ideas with 2 different people. So if you want to take 2 extra sheets, please do that. Yes, Susan. We will absolutely put it on the internet. Right, Lonnie? We will put it on the internet. Yes. We will. No doubt about it.
So it is.
And so it is. Yes. All right. So there they are. 7 practices. This is what Chopra has to say about them. He says, the 7 practices for peace are simple, but when followed on a mass scale, their power is potentially unlimited. If you transform yourself into a peacemaker, you won't become an activist marching in the street. You won't be anti anything. No money is required. All you are asked to do is go within and dedicate yourself to peace. It just might work. Even if you don't immediately see a decline in violence in your world, you will know in your heart that you have dedicated your own life to peace. The single best reason, listen to this, the single best reason to become a peacemaker is this: every other approach has failed. No one knows what the critical mass must be before peace becomes the foundation of a new order. Regardless, your duty and mine is to bring about change by personal transformation. Sunday, be peace. Monday, think peace. Tuesday, feel peace. Wednesday, speak peace. Thursday, act peace. Friday, create peace. Saturday, share peace. When you do this, you become a peacemaker. So because it's Sunday, we're going to do the Sunday activity together. I'm going to introduce it with a prayer or meditation, really a series of affirmations, from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, on peace. And it's in our Science of Mind textbook. So if you'd like to close your eyes, we will have these words from Holmes and then move into today's Sunday's activity to be peace. These words that Ernest offers are in the first person, so they're I statements. I simply invite you to make them yours. He writes, I am the Christ, the Son, the daughter of the living God within me. I am the principle of peace within me. I am the manifestation of love within me. My mind is poised in peace and beauty. All sense of fear and doubt are gone. I rest in calm trust and rely on the law of spirit to bring good into my experience. I am filled with wonderful peace and light. Peace and joy accompany me. Happiness and wholeness fill my entire being with the realization of love and perfection. I am the Christ, the Son, the daughter of the living God within me. This inner mind is now divine and complete. It is whole and satisfied. I look back over all previous experience and find that it was good, very good. I look toward the future and find that it is good and very good. I look at the present and find that it is also good, very good. God is in all, over all, and through all. I am the Christ, the Son, the daughter of the living God within me. I am the principle of peace. And so we bring into our hearts this idea that we are the principle of peace. And just in your own way, in the silence of your very deep beingness, identify with peace. Breathe peace. Know peace. And we move to the second word to contemplate. The word of harmony. We think, of course, harmony when we think of music. When we listen to the sisters in spirit sing, and their harmony is so exquisite. But there's harmony everywhere. Harmony in the balance of the colors in our afternoon sky. Harmony in the perfect flow of the seasons. Harmony as two people dance, each one taking their part so beautifully. Harmony in our relationships as we give and receive love, care. Contemplate for just a moment now within your heart of hearts the idea of harmony. And we now move to laughter. What makes you smile? The thought of Mildred and having Frank's truck in her parking, in her driveway all night long. Take that laughter into your heart. Be with that joy, that innate presence of joy in you. Simply be with that for a few moments. And we now fill our hearts with love. Love of the divine that pours over us and fills us at every moment of every day. The love of family and friends. The love in this room for each other. Bring that love into conscious heart awareness. And simply contemplate it for the next few moments. And in a heart where peace, harmony, laughter, and love reside, there can be no place for resentment or grievances. And so in this sweet space, we bring into mind any place where there may be that in us. And we get an image, a picture in our minds. And we use that sacred and beautiful Ho'oponopono practice and simply say to that experience, that person, in our hearts right now, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. And as we have in this moment been peace, then there shall be peace on earth. And so it is, and so we let it be.